Welcome to Loleventvods. Watch the full game from EMEA Masters, Winter 2025.
Saying, do you guys have anything hype, any intense music? Well, I did ask, we did try, there's no hype music. So what you could do for yourself, open up a second tab, go to YouTube, go to some sort of intense, epic 10-hour battle cast music whatsoever, and make sure you hype it up. Because for the last and final time between Ratones and SuperMassive, we go to pick and ban phase. And in the bottom side, yeah, go ahead.
But you hear also piercing light, right?
Wait, is it piercing?
It's piercing
light.
Oh,
there's
right?
music! Oh, he did it!
That was high. I mean, piercing light is... Maybe we get a Yi pick now for the song.
Or Lucian.
Hello? Oh, also that.
Nice, we got some music, so that's been fixed. Right, okay, for you guys at home. So in the bottom side of the screen, you'll notice all the picks and we had for all those 4 games. So a lot of champions are out of the question. They cannot be played for Summer's Rift this time. A lot of bans going towards Baus once again. Sign, Gregas, and Ivern. SIM, we notice the first picks coming in, and it's one that Baus have played pretty good on yesterday.
Yeah, and I think the funny thing about this champion is that it can reflect between both Baus and Nemesis, so they're not really afraid to pick it up early and make sure that at least one of them gets a matchup that's playable. But the answer that now already comes out from the other side is Jinx as one of the few hyper carries that's still left. And Nocturne being picked up by Skeens, which I'd say will go into the jungle, but I've also noted it has been played recently on top lane.
Wait, piercing light?
Oh, you're just predicting. You predicted Delusion. Our producer predicted Delusion coming in.
Put on Swain music. Put on Swain music.
This game.
Shot it.
I love this pick and ban phase already. In the meantime, Lucian Nami, such a notable bot lane, so strong in that laning phase. In the meantime, we see small answers coming through from SuperMassive. They got Melio, who's just trying to knock back, push back players, also trying to keep them healthy, which means there's a couple more bans coming in, and still 4 picks that we need to see come through for the final game. SIM, in the meantime, to maybe look towards the stakes and the balance of both teams, do you feel like either SuperMassive or Los Ratones have a good composition already?
I mean, thus far, I do prefer Los Ratones draft, because like Lucian Nami is just such a volatile lane. You can instantly start putting pressure upon your enemies, whilst Jinx, Melio really need to get those early levels to maybe get an answer towards that. Then the Cho'Gath is still really flexible, and I don't know why. I don't want to be a hater for a champion like Nocturne, but when all the combinations with this champion feel like they have been played already so they cannot be picked up, like we know that G2 on Worlds really like to play this combination with Nocturne Orianna that had almost 0 counterplay, but now Orianna has already been picked up. Vice isn't necessarily playable. Then we're getting Aurora maybe that is being able to be played with it.
I mean, maybe, but I really like the idea of putting Jinx with Melio, because I think Melio has been like a pick that has been disappearing since like the lanes of meta. Before that, he was like playable, and it's like a game where it would go to like a really 30-40 minute scenario where you have like the Mile, Mile is unfortunately not here, but she's in our hearts. The Melio with like the full leveled extra range on that cozy campfire with like in full item build Jinx, for example. She needs 1 reset, and oh my god. It's a Nemesis Zilean. Oh my god, that's so spicy.
Okay, so we're getting Zilean and Kindred.
Nobody's allowed to die.
For Velja.
You're either getting revived or you're getting You have to stay alive in the circle. Nobody's going to die. Dying is not allowed.
This is so do or die from Los Ratones. Like, sure, there is a little bit of scaling.
There we go.
It looks like we're once again in a situation where if SuperMassive can get to set up something early and they can get like their bot lane dives off, or they can get their plays off with invading, then Kindred will fall off, Lucian will not be a scaling carry, and then where are you going to take it from? Los Ratones putting themselves on the timer.
On the other hand, the Nocturne is completely useless also later against like the Zilean and the Kindred, because he is going in, trying to kill somebody, and there's just 2 people. Just on duty to make sure that one person alive.
Well, guys, SM Rickshot, before we go and draw any conclusions, for the final time this evening, it's time to go towards our predictions. These are the 10 champions that will be played in the 5th and final game. First of all, Twitch chat, please put it in big capital letters. Who do you think is gonna win? Will it be Los Ratones or, of course, SuperMassive? Please let us know what you expect that's about to happen. We'll take all your votes into account, because SIM, what's gonna happen in this final game?
I really don't like to jinx it because I'd really like Los Ratones to win, but I've been correct every single game thus far, so chat, please hope that I'm wrong, but I feel like SuperMassive will take this game.
SuperMassive will win the quarterfinals up to SIM. Rixales?
Oh my god, I mean, I have been really wrong the whole time, but with my last guess, I was ready, and I would say Vala Morghulis and Los Ratones is gonna make it.
Los Ratones is gonna make it, and even this desk is split halfway. I noticed in the chat there's quite some fans from Los Ratones, also some SuperMassive votes. It's time to find out what will happen. Two casters, they just drank 2 liters of coffee. They're more than ready to bring it home. Guys, good luck. Enjoy the final game between Los Ratones and SuperMassive.
Thank you, Bo. I cannot wait to get into this one, Bloxer. I don't know if there's any point asking us who we think is going to win, because if you don't pick Los Ratones, I am disowning you, to be clear.
We are no longer friends if that happens. No. Come on, NLC. This is the single craziest series that I've watched. We came into today thinking this was going to be close, thinking that SuperMassive looked great, and Los Ratones, they'd showed some struggles, but they'd also shown how good they could be. When everything lines up for them, I think Los Ratones might have the highest ceiling of any of these teams. Same time though, SuperMassive, they felt more consistent despite the fact that it's now 2 apiece. It's really been an insane matchup between these two. I just don't know. It's so on a knife's edge already.
Yeah, and last time I had my big doubts about the compositional matchup, about the way that Los Ratones put that team together, but all the individuals performed so well that it just didn't matter, and they were able to execute, even with, you know, melee flanking Xayah. That worked. That was what they needed, and that's what they did, and that's what worked for them. Now, I actually feel a lot better about this composition. You've got the most frustrating mid-jungle duo of all time in the Zilean and Kindred. You cannot kill these guys. The Baus Cho'Gath, we've been waiting for it all day, and I love this confidence pick from Crowny and Reckless taking the Lucian Nami. Though I must say, Jinx Milio is a pretty fearsome 2v2 in itself.
Really is. I mean, the Lucian Nami is the kind of duo that I used to love watching Reckless play the Lucian of. It was really good fun to see. I've been enjoying his Nami performances over the past couple years as well. So this bot lane matchup could most definitely be pivotal. But you're right, the Jinx is something that's been on the ban table pretty much the entire tournament so far for good reason. It's incredibly strong at the moment and can just take over these team fights later on. And you need that in this composition right here for SuperMassive because they've got so much on the rest of the map focused on the early game. The Renekton, and more than anything, this Nocturne is all about what you can get early on, and you need to get stuff early on because you don't find these big kills later on with a Kindred ulti available.
Yeah, it has been a success for Skeens overall today. He has been able to get a lot of action done early, especially the Xin game, the Wukong game. He's had some great earlies to put on his report card for today, and once he gets that level 6, Los Ratones are going to have eyes in the back and sides of their head to watch for where this angle is coming for, especially when you have lanes like Lucian Nami that want to be playing aggressive. They want to be pushing an advantage, diving forward aggressively. If you're not keeping track of where the Nocturne is, that can get really, really bad really fast.
Exactly, and it's the same sort of story right here for this Aurora. Another champion that really wants to get things going early on can then easily one-tap a couple of these squishy carries if you catch them out in bad situations. But still, later on, when there's so many revives, when there's so many invulnerabilities available to you, it becomes much trickier to play these kinds of champions out. We're going to have to keep a close eye on what they are doing.
The trap's going down behind him. It's a 3v3 though. Velia not super strong at this early stage, but has the double buff. Skeen getting actually chunked down. Bao with their mana. Velia going in, but Fiesta with a much faster rotation. Nemesis has not moved, now stepping into the river. They want to contest over this potential first Kindred mark. And honestly, Los Ratones looks like they've managed this one better.
Yeah, they were able to just keep less members around and still be able to come out on top of this one. Really well executed from Los Ratones. I thought they were going to step a little bit too far up, but unfortunately Fiesta, he wasn't able to get the slow off, and it meant that he's just able to walk away. Skeens does get his Gromp, but he has to flash for it. That's not worth.
Yeah, Los Ratones stepping aggressively forward. Nemesis finally arrived there and was able to walk through with Velia. Gets that first mark on deck for the Kindred. Remember, we're looking for that 4 mark kind of turning point. It's kind of that first stage that you want to hit. That's when you start to really come online as the Kindred, and being able to be on the right side of the map for that first scuttle mark and be able to contest it and win it is not that common in pro Kindred play. So it's a great start for Velia.
No, it's so much harder to play out the Kindred in these pro play situations because everybody is aware of what's going on. You're gonna get wards put all throughout your and your opposition's jungle just to make sure that you can't just sit there and pick up every single mark that you could possibly want. You can see right now, getting chased around a little bit by Skeens and Fiesta. Doesn't get taken out, unlikely to be able to pick himself up the current mark on the chicken, so it's not too bad early on for SuperMassive, but they need to be very careful to not let this Kindred begin to get ahead. The Kindred Zillion combo is just so annoying to try to play against.
Yeah, it looked like Velia honestly was just beelining for that Raptors camp, and then both Skeens and Fiesta just closed the door like, nope, stop, go away. No chance. Okay, you got your first one. Good job. Absolutely not a chance on this one. And gets pushed back into the jungle. You can see that deep pink ward in the topside jungle, giving SuperMassive a little bit more information as to Velia's pathing. And so far, the rest of the game has been pretty quiet at this point. Faust getting assaulted by Armor, has to flash away as the level 6 tick straight away goes to the ultimate Crowny, and Reckless fighting it out against Bao and Carry, but this time the Jinx Milio seems to be coming out on top.
Yeah, you wouldn't expect it. Jinx Milio not exactly known for coming out on top of these fights early on. Very much the wheelhouse of the Lucian Nami. But the thing is, if you're able to get that kick across from the Milio, it's very easy to then layer that CC down and make it pretty tricky for Crowny to be able to play this one out. You can see it happened there, got chunked out pretty aggressively. Velia does arrive in the area, though. He will get spotted out if he steps up a little bit too far. Does indeed, so you're going to know what's happening as Bao and Carry. It does mean that they're just going to have to concede having this wave pushed underneath their tower.
Barrier actually dropped by Crowny there. Gives him a little bit more HP to play with through this potential dive, but this is only a 2v3. Bao doesn't quite have his barrier back. Does have the flashes on Carry as well, but oh my goodness, this is pretty darn close. Fiesta drops the ultimate Nemesis, ticks over to 3 just in time. But now Fiesta can simply wait. All the electrocute knocks it over. That's not what you want to see. You wanted to put him 1 auto away, but ends up saving Nemesis, to be honest.
Oh, getting inted by your own electrocute as this bot lane continues on. Velia gonna step up, wants this dive right now.
He's got the ultimate ready. Bao now did get the barrier back, but he's way away from the tower. Carry can barely withstand it. Velia drops his own ultimate, but Bao should be picked up by Crowny here. There's the first blood pollution, and now Carry abandoned behind the turret. Nemesis picks up his dues. Lost Ratones with a lovely double for themselves.
I can hear the roar right now of the NLC fans. Come on, Los Ratones. It's exactly
Speeding
what
down
they
my
needed.
street. Yeah, they're very excited.
They're all over. I mean, just getting those early kills directly where you need them as well. Getting an early kill onto Crowny right here. Put this Lucian Nami ahead. Falling behind on these champions. Not going to help out in Los Ratones' chances of victories, but so far, so good. Whilst all of that was happening, Skeens was able to pick up 3 grubs for his team, so that is going to be something. And with a Jinx on team, you really would like to get all of the grubs, can help with taking these towers down. House flashed on.
Yeah, I love that. No flash for the Cho'Gath. This is pretty much a done deal.
Oh,
actually,
no.
Wonderfully placed Q and Armor. I thought he'd go through with that. I guess he knows his cooldown's better than me, you know? He's not going to find it. Mouse sticks the recall in his face. Those are nerves of steel that I would not be able to stand up behind.
No, game number 5, I would not be feeling good about that one. I'd have blown every ability I had in terror right there. But, you know, there's a reason that I'm not the Baus and that he is going to be able to pull his team through in this one. Such a signature pick, and to be able to get it at this point in the series is crazy. This is why I love Fearless. These drafts are so solo queue-esque, honestly. I've seen this draft in solo queue games pretty much through all of the ranks as well, but just executed at such a high level we have to expect. Drake is going to be unavailable. Yeah, this is how you play it well.
to be fair, this is what you gotta do. Velia has hit that 4-stack mark. This is a lovely start for a Kindred. Right off the starting block, straight to that early break point with a couple of assists. Sadly, no kills, but the marks is really what you want. So Los Ratones have gotten what they need in this early stage. They've got the lead onto Lucian, the marks onto Kindred, and Baus has not died once. It's a dream.
It's exactly what you want as a Los Ratones fan right here. SuperMassive, they've got to be a little bit worried with this kind of composition into what Los Ratones have. You want a massive advantage because killing people later on through all of these revives and invulnerabilities is going to be so unbelievably tricky. It's going to be all about trying to get these ultis out before a team fight starts and then waiting, re-engaging, and trying to play the team fight out the second time. If you just try to blow everything on that first initial engage as SuperMassive, it's not going to work.
Velia taking up an advanced position in the river. Carry's going to try and check it with the sweeper. Does spot the Kindred out. Doesn't end up taking any damage either. No harm, no foul. Velia knows it's been spotted. Have a try ward just in case that moves forward. Velia would love to get onto this dragon. Los Ratones, again, have really been enjoying the dragon today. Fiesta might be in a bit of a bad spot here. Has the flash, but doesn't have a good way out. Velia dashing forward, a little hop, skip, and a jump. Fiesta gets back to safety, gives up control of the pit. So Los Ratones struggling a little bit to get what they need. In goes the Paranoia with the Aurora ultimate as well. Velia gets the ult down, but he's very, very low. Can hop over the wall if he times it right. He's very low. The Nemesis ult as well, giving him that extra bit of survivability. Fiesta pops him into the resurrection intentionally this time. Pops over the wall. Nemesis dropping ever lower as well. Flash over the wall by the Aurora. One last auto doesn't get the deed done, and Los Ratones peel back.
They're just not quite going to be able to pick up any of the kills, are Supermassive, but they are going to be able to get full control around this Drake pit. Do also get to push through in the bottom lane. So close, though. If Bao's able to get that first kill, you can run through people with the get excited right there. And I love the aggression as well. And that's exactly the team fight we were talking about, right? They go for the initial engage, then they back off, wait, get both of the big ultis out, and then they can re-engage. Just a couple more items. Not even a couple more items. A couple more components available for these carries. And Supermassive would have won a massive team fight there.
It is unfortunate for the Supermassive fans. They would love to see their team get off to the races, have that first big ultimate drop, result in some kills, get Bao a couple, as you said, get the resets going, and get them into the mid game looking good. As it stands, they remain where they were. They lose the summoners, they lose the ults, they don't get any further into this game. Now Baus is going pretty deep, and Skeens is up there if he wants to challenge him, but Crowny and Reckless are pushing towers on the other side. Some difficult questions being asked of Supermassive. Especially if Skeens, where does he dedicate his time? Does he try and fix top? Does he try and slow down bot lane? It's not easy.
Feels like more play around the Drake is going to be the answer right now. Of course, the grubs are up and available, and the first 3 were picked up by Supermassive, so I'd be surprised if Los Ratones don't want to try pick those up at some point. For right now, though, they're feeling very confident to play around this incredibly strong bot lane. Bao takes a massive chunk of damage. Doesn't get a kill, not at this level, but with the Essence Reaver already completed, that's great damage from Crowny, and does potentially open up this bot lane to a dive if Los Ratones want to go for it.
Yep, Skeens is now in the area, has the Paranoia if needed. Velia is going to hop over and spot the Nocturne. Trying to work on the Grump. Another camp steal is going to be on the cards for this Kindred. Maybe they can peel back for the Dragon. Bao is gradually getting healed up, you know, by the Milio, and by generally just having a Doran's Blade in inventory. But now Velia starts it up. Skeens is back into base. In fact, Armor is running from base too. Los Ratones, they kind of need to get this objective done and get out of there, or they might end up overloaded.
Baus arrived down for this play and is walking his way back up. It's going to be Drake picked up nice and easily right here for Los Ratones, and there's no play onto the Herald from Supermassive, and they are now in massive threat of a dive right now.
Reckless with the tilting ultimate, which he doesn't now have it for the dive itself, but Armit's here TP. All 5 members of Supermassive come out of the woodwork at the snap of their fingers, and Velia doesn't even get a chance to ult. Fiesta with a lovely different worlds there, drops the ultimate they need. Reckless wearing the Zillion ultimate is pushed into the resurrection. 2 already picked up for the TCL side, and Reckless not going to be allowed to live. Crowny now abandoned in mid lane. Baus is just working on mid, I should say. Supermassive, finally, they get themselves put together for something good.
And that's the way they need to keep using these ultis. You can see every single time the Paranoia is up, Skeens is looking for the engage. He's been brilliant all the way through this series. A great performance right here from the TCL's jungler, and needed to pull ahead right there. Couple of kills. You lose out on a few turret plays in the mid lane, but it's really not the end of the world. And Crowny, he didn't die in the initial play. I'm worried for his life here.
Yeah, it's not looking good. It's not looking good. Armit's going to pick that one up. Drags him back into Supermassive. Absolutely, wait for it. And now Armit can potentially pick up some more plates right here. Los Ratones do have pushes in mid and top, but you really wanted to keep Crowny accelerated. You don't want to let Bao get any money.
No, you want to keep Bao in the worst economy possible, because he's the carry right here. Don't get me wrong. Everybody on Supermassive needs to work in tandem to make this game work, but it's going to be about getting that Jinx, that first kill, and running through the rest of the map. Nemesis getting jumped here, doesn't have the ulti available to him. Rocket coming down through mid, just misses, doesn't matter. Skeen's going to be able to pick that one up. Can they collapse on Baus here?
Grub secured for Los Ratones. The Cho'Gath, not the most mobile of champions in the game, it must be said. Already has a decent amount of HP. He won't be allowed to step back to the turret. So, Los Ratones with an objective on the top side, but lose that death on Nemesis as well. SuperMassive opening up a decent gold lead for themselves, about 1.5k as we approach the 15-minute mark.
Nice pick up again for SuperMassive, and they are using their pick composition to great effect right now. Paranoia nearly back up and available for Fiends. That's going to be another thing to watch right now. 5 of the marks, 6 chomps for Baus. They're doing well in terms of the scaling. I feel like SuperMassive, as much as they've been having a pretty good early game, they need to accelerate this game more. They need to be further ahead. They need to be pushing these objectives, because the later and later this game goes, the harder and harder this one's going to get.
Absolutely. Ratones. The pressure is on for them to keep the gold rolling in, to not lose track of their carries, not fall behind the curve. But SuperMassive, less pressure for them. They can sit back, let Bao accumulate some money, let Fiesta get an item or two, really start hitting hard with this Aurora pick. So far, Ratones just rotating their carries around, picking up what gold they can. They are at least still keeping a lot of inflow for Velia. You can see a huge CS lead already opening up, and that might end up being the true game-winning carry for Los Ratones. It would be appropriate, as Velia, a young, fresh player, has been so pivotal to their success up to this point.
Been one of the main carries for the team. This whole Los Ratones team has been able to step up in different moments. That's the thing with having this many big names and some promising younger players as well. As much as Baus has been around in the scene for a while, rookie in terms of proper competitive play. He's had a bit of an up and down series so far. The Cho'Gath looking great. We've made it past 15 minutes without a Baus death in this one. Feels pretty good so far for Los Ratones, as they're going to be able to pick up this bot lane tier 1 tower. Right now, the response from SuperMassive is going to be to try to pick themselves up this Rift Herald. Should be easy enough, just Nemesis in the area. But still, you're not exactly getting massive leads right now as SuperMassive. They're never finding a clean victory without something being traded on the other side of the map for Los Ratones.
Armor under threat onto this bot inner. Velia stepping forward, tanking the tower though, unfortunately has to step back. These ramped up tower shots are huge. Crowdy loses off HP to one of them. Armor drops the ultimate, and the wave comes out as he steps too far forward. Shut down for the Lucian. And Los Ratones stroll away, having got what they came for.
Yeah, they managed to pick up a ton of damage onto the tower, but the kill onto Armor is far bigger. This means that you are now losing out on your top laner right up until the point at which the Drake is going to spawn. SuperMassive, at least they're able to push through this wave. They don't lose the tower, it's something.
Nemesis suffering in this Aurora matchup once again. Steps through the ultimate, has his own to drop to give him the room to get away, and Fiesta gonna let him skulk back to safety with a TP still on deck for Nemesis, and he can get back in to where he needs to be. But Fiesta's gonna complete the push. Yeah, and Baus is gonna pick up the wave.
Big ulti to lose right here, especially right before another potential team fight. We've got the Mountain Drake spawned up. Only one Drake taken so far in this game by Los Ratones. SuperMassive not really been able to trade it back. Did he just die? Did he just get insta-popped? Oh, not quite.
If he has the flash, I think he would have gone for it if he found that, but still it delays the recall from Fiesta. Now you can see once again Velia, uncontested, going to pick up this second dragon.
Yeah.
And that's going to be the feat of monster killing secured there for Los Ratones, so they're going to get the triumphant boots again.
Yeah, Los Ratones, they've been in great control. Despite the fact
Hexal.
Oh,
Hexal with Kindred.
Yeah, that's not what you want to see. It makes it so much easier to play out these fights if you can pick that one up, and being up 2 Drakes right now. Feeling very good right now are the NLC's representatives. Los Ratones had themselves a decent early game. They haven't fallen behind exactly what you need with this kind of late game scaling composition. They just need to be careful of Bao, right? As much as Fiesta and Armor could try to take you through the early game, Bao is all of the late game right here for SuperMassive. They get hard outscaled in a 45-minute plus game, you know, once the stacks really begin to heat up for Velia and Baus. But once you get the 3 to 4 items, that's the point at which Bao is going to be in the absolute strongest position.
You get aggressed on. The root comes through onto Crowny, but he doesn't have to step away. The Jinx ult goes through as well. The ult's held. Yeah, that's the flash away at the very least. Nemesis puts the threat onto him, and Fiesta down the bot side. Nemesis needs to be very careful. The burst is huge. Still has an ultimate to keep himself alive. He's probably not going to get out of there. Velia's coming around the corner. Maybe he could save him. A flash from the Zillion into the Los Ratones jungler with the TPs coming in for the top laners. Carry with no flash gets taken out, but they need to reposition. Fiesta's still got massive burst. Baus on the front line. Arma onto the front line. Nemesis is trying to get away. It is becoming a mess right now, and Bao has been consumed by the Baus. Skeens all on his own as down comes the Kindred ultimate. A shutdown for Velia and the NLC. Or they clutch it out. I had no idea how that was going to end block, sir.
That was such a messy fight, but the TP from Arma way too late teleports him right into the back of everybody. Is able to survive, but doesn't get any use out of it. And this is the thing, these longer extended fights where you're actually able to keep the Kindred ulti until the very end, that's exactly what you need. It was a great flash from Nemesis as well to keep himself alive. And this is what Los Ratones needed for themselves. They're getting themselves into a great position coming into this mid-game right now. And the fact that they can win out on these messy team fights, where everybody's split up, you usually think that that's a lot better for Supermassive, right? Because you can't all be sat in that Kindred ulti. But the Baus in the backline just doing work right now.
And a big pickup for Velia there. Just recalled and got the Collector done. 2 items deep at 20 minutes. Is this Kindred with 6 stacks completed? It's just going to be a very, very big threat for Supermassive to deal with. You know, we mentioned how good the Hextech Soul is for people like Velia and for Crowny, but Bao also would love it. A 4 Hextech Drake, Hextech Soul, that is just curtains, to be honest. So you can't give that away to the Jake, especially not with the Ruinous Atakan, as the Culling comes out, slices off most of Bao's HP with the help of a Nemesis Bomb. Los Ratones up to a 3,000 gold lead with all the control they need. Carry still with no flash, remember, Armor is getting consumed, but now in comes Skeens to turn this into a 2v1, and Bao coming up to the top side. They can get some gold injected into this Jinx with an ultimate. Skeens takes the shutdown, but it's something. Mid lane now getting dived on by Los Ratones. They're going deep behind the tower. Fiesta switches places to get to safety. They'll lose the tower, but they keep their members alive.
Yeah, but I don't know how much that really helps. Skeens now gets jumped upon right here. Crowny does so much damage. Nami ulti coming through. He's just gonna die here. Survives for a little bit, but still, another kill picked up. Crowny gonna bank that one. 2 items completed on this Lucian right now. He's in a great spot.
That's a great call. Like, you can tell it's from Nemesis. He is sprinting towards the Nocturne as soon as he sees him on the side going, no flash, no ult, let's get this guy. That is the shot calling that Los Ratones need. They need to keep it messy, keep it scrappy. That is where they shine.
Really is. Los Ratones, sometimes they just outhands you. Sometimes the macro has been a little bit iffy for this team. We've seen it throughout this series. But when you push this team up against the wall, they know how to scrap their way back out. And these team fights so far going the Rats' way. Supermassive, they did okay in the early game, but I don't feel like they put themselves out to enough of a lead.
Herald just charged down the mid lane. It's basically a full HP turret. Los Ratones there. It's bringing it down to about half. And Herald will be taking down Nemesis. Going to step forward and stop any of this funny business. Fiesta just going to get a little bit of control there, but now Hextech coming up just under 40 seconds. Los Ratones want that soul point. They won that last fight pretty handily. They'll have Baus ready. They've got the Cho'Gath ultimate, remember, as well, plus the Kindred ult. They can really mess with Supermassive's ability to try and get the smite down at the right time.
Yeah, if they can stop this from going down exactly when you want it to, exactly, another great way to try to win this one out. Ratones, they're pushing up, they're taking up so much space right now in their opposition's jungle. It feels so tricky for Skeens to step up, try to get farming done. I mean, look at the CS gap right there in the jungle. Just the absolute canyon. 7 of the marks as well picked up for Velia. What is one of these big signature picks for him. And they are going to start up the Hextech Drake right now. Yeah, Supermassive, they're in the area, but there's nothing they can do. Maybe they want to try clean up a team fight on the backside of this one. I don't even know that you win that, though.
Yeah, Los Ratones would love for a team fight right now. It seems like Crowny is just going head first into the mill as Fiesta has isolated Reckless. In goes Skeens to finish that kill off. It's a little sketchy right now, but Baus is going to get a kill on Carry on the other side, perhaps. Doesn't quite get it. Now one for Velia as Aurora has been picked off. Crowny on the flank, Armor with the Dominus still ticking, but Baus is going to get the Qs flashing for the silence, for the double knockup. 2 kills for Velia. Diving for more. Bao falls and Armor to follow. Velia looking for the Penta. Can we get the Los Ratones Kindred Penta? He's diving the tower, but he's not going to throw the series away for it. I respect that.
He's right not to go all the way, but at the same time, I'm so sad. That would have been such a sick one. Oh, God, that would have been gorgeous. Still, it is gorgeous. Beautiful plays right here at Avelia. He was able to get those 4 marks so quickly on in this game and has really taken over the map. We've had questions about this man pretty much throughout the entire series, throughout the entire tournament, I gotta be honest. This game, this is what we have been seeing from him in the NLC. In the domestic region, Velia was popping off and carrying his team time and time again. They're going to be able to pick up the Atakan on the backside of this fight as well. And Los Ratones, they are in a great spot to be sending themselves on to the semi-finals of the EMEA Masters.
Ruinous Atakan secured, a bunch more XP in the pocket. Baus 10 stacks deep on the feast. 3 dragons picked up already, getting enhanced, plus the grubby spawns. Los Ratones, when the fights came down to it, the critical mid-game that they needed to be in control of, they needed to come out ahead to be comfortable, and they've managed to do it. They've kept Bao more or less shut down as Carry with a very greedy recall position. Caught up by the Baus and consumed once again.
That could turn into a complete disaster right now. Baron already on the table. So tricky to be able to try steal anything away when you've got a Kindred and a Cho'Gath available to you. Big TP flank coming through right here from Fiesta. It feels like he's just trying to do something, anything.
That is very scary. Nemesis is outside the pit, he's losing to an ultimate. It's pretty sketchy. They leave the bit, they go for Bao. Isolated as the Jinx, but escapes alive. Los Ratones holding the Baron still. They've got a Cho'Gath ultimate. Velia still working on it. They've managed to get back into the pit. It goes down to the flip. Who's going to find it with the Kindred ultimate? Keeping it alive. Down it goes. And Baus picks up the Baron. Los Ratones feast on the corpses of SuperMassive as they are sprinting for the mid lane.
The TCL hopefuls are being scattered to the winds right now. Bao runs back. Nemesis may have bitten off a little bit more than he can chew, but the rest of Los Ratones are incoming. Carry dies to start off that Baron play. He dies at this point as well. This one may well be GG's. The towers are falling. Inhibitors soon to follow. Los Ratones, they took it all the way to 5 games. They looked terrible in game number 1, but they want to move on.
Such a delayed death. They can't end right now. They're going for double inhib. The respawns are going to come through. If Los Ratones choose to force a fight, they could do it, but they're taking the safe option. Hex gates to safety. 2 inhibs down. Baron on the back. Hextech Soul in 90 seconds. Los Ratones have everything they need to complete the 5-game victory. Bao stepping out of the base. You ain't got no help there, brother. Los Ratones diving forward. Another kill for Velia as now Skeens goes for the Desperation Ultimate onto an isolated Cho'Gath. But this guy has 10 billion HP and you can't find the kill on him.
No, they're going to push forwards right here. Los Ratones, they want a cool game right now. They're pushing onto these Nexus towers. The first one will fall. The second one soon to follow.
Arma barely scraping back to the tower. Bao's holding them down. The Nexus is exposed. They just need to hit the objective. Los Ratones, stop playing for kills. Please end the series for the NLC. Do it for all of us. And the Rats have done it. TCL full. NLC advance. And as a wise man once said, smoke the doubters. The whole pack. 3-2 Los Ratones.
Let's